Hi, everyone, and welcome once again to East Brunswick's J. Doyle Field. Gordy Deal alongside Jimmy Allinder. Week 2 of Central Jersey High School football tonight. East Brunswick tackles the J.P. Stevens Hawks. Should be a good matchup. Both teams are pretty evenly matched, both in terms of size and speed, as compared to last week we saw against Sayreville. Both teams come in with a mark of 0-1, and there are a couple of key injuries we'll get to in a minute, but your thoughts about this game?
Well, Gordy, I reflect back on last week's game against Sayreville, that 28-0 loss that East Brunswick absorbed. It's interesting because, you want to say that East Brunswick went up against maybe one of the best teams in the county, and maybe that 28-0 loss was indicative of how good East Brunswick could possibly be this year, because I have a feeling that Sayreville is going to run it up on a lot of teams this year. So 28-0 may not be all that bad, and maybe East Brunswick does have a good team. We're going to find that out tonight against this J.P. Stevens team, which is probably going to have a little bit of a different look than what we saw last week. Sayreville was that grind out by Brandon Hoyt, by the way, who announced that he's going to go to Notre Dame University. He's going to get a free ride there. But that being said, Sayreville really was a grinded out team. Tonight, J.P. Stevens is probably going to have a little bit of a different look with Mike Mafucci at the quarterback, throwing to a couple of good receivers. You can tell me who they are, but they 5 catches for one, 5 for the other. They really did a nice job, and they're going to have to watch the passing game tonight.
Yeah, you talked about East Brunswick losing last week. J.P. Stevens also took a pounding as well by a 48-18 score at the hands of North Brunswick. Another mismatch like we saw here, in which North Brunswick really pushed J.P. Stevens all around the field after halftime. It was a 14-12 score at the half, but the 30-point margin of difference obviously was an indication that North Brunswick's size really wore down J.P. Stevens. We'll keep an eye on that tonight because I think the teams are fairly evenly matched in terms of size. Mike Mafucci, as you mentioned, a quarterback, 15 for 21, 228 yards last week, threw for 2 touchdowns and ran for another. So we'll keep an eye on him tonight. Obviously a key to the J.P. Stevens offense. Peter Kang will do most of the ball work from the backfield in terms of carrying the football. They run a multiple offense as opposed to East Brunswick, which shows you the E-bone, lot of option. So we'll check the starting lineups in just a moment. And welcome once again. Let's take a look at tonight's starting lineups as the captains make their way to the center of the field. We will start first with J.P. Stevens. Let's look at their defense. They play a 4-3. From left to right, the ends, Mike Petruzzi, a 6'1", 190-pound senior, wears number 25. The tackles, number 70, J.R. Sturcio, and 72, Jamal Davis. Sturcio, a 5'10", 210-pound senior, and Davis is a 5'9", 210 junior. And the other end is number 61, Jeff Zuta, who's a 6'4", 235-pound junior. At the linebacker spots, number 63, Brian Lemchak, number 54, P.J. Surik, and number 32, Aaron Coward. The cornerbacks, number 55, Tom Dubé, and number 1, Jameel Allen. And the safeties, number 22, Dan Sika, and number 84, Tony Smith. Here's the coin toss. Pause for that for just a moment. Captain's out at midfield. J.P. Stevens has won the toss, and they have deferred. The East Brunswick offense, which runs the option and the E-bone. From left tackle to right tackle, number 77, Steve Schwartzer in the lineup tonight. He is in for Sanford, as we mentioned earlier, who's out with a head injury. Right. Dan Sanzano at left guard, who's in for Jason Carbone. He wears number 73. The center is 78, Dan Sauvigny. Right guard, 76, Frank Panulo, and the right tackle is 74, Brian Acciani. The quarterback, 21, John Chu. Had a decent week last week rushing, 11 carries, 35 yards. The tight end is number 89, Greg Nagy. Wide out is number 41, Matt Kolbeck. The halfbacks, number 5, Mike Barrero, and number 36, Bobby Mineta, who gets the start tonight. And the fullback is number 42, James Gagnon, who had a workhorse week last week. 7 rushes, 30 yards, and also had a big night on defense, making 11 tackles, 4 of them solo.
Gordy saw also one of those captains out there, Mike Mamaro, who also had an excellent game last week, leading the team in tackling, 12 solos, 14 assists, and just was a dynamite defensive player.
He was devastating last week, and some of those weren't just ordinary drag the guy down from the shirt tail tackles. He was laying on some hits last week.
What do you make of J.P. Stevens deferring for this kickoff?
Yeah, I don't know. I think both of these teams are so evenly matched. I think we're going to be really tight, so I think they may be hoping that they can have some momentum to start the final 24 minutes of the game. That's the only thing I can think of at this point.
So you do have Mamaro back deep. along with number 36.
Yeah, Marrero and Mineta.
Mamero and Mineta. Okay, the M&M boys. Forget that.
And kicking off for J.P. Stevens will be number 1, Jameel Allen. J.P. Stevens in the away white jerseys, white pants with green socks, white helmets, green numbers. And East Brunswick almost the opposite. Home green jerseys, white pants, white helmets.
Gordy, when J.P. Stevens and East Brunswick get together as the kickoff, we can always expect some fireworks.
A lot of history between these two schools. Let's start off on a particularly good note. Flag on the play, offsides to start for J.P. Stevens. And Jameel Allen will tee it up again.
I'd tell you, walking around the field before the game, both teams were extremely excited. You never would know that they were each coming off some, a loss.
Each week is a new life. So here's Jameel Allen, teed up now from the 35-yard line. This should improve the field position for East Brunswick. Line drive kick taken by Mineta at the 15. Mineta 20, 25. Mineta 30 with room. Mineta is going to break it. Mineta with room down the left flank.
Yes, he is.
He was grabbed by a shirt tail, and he's going to go 85 yards for the touchdown on the kickoff return.
Gordy, they go 60 minutes without scoring against Saraville, and how many seconds did it take? 15 goes off the clock before they get their first points.
Bobby Mineta, 85-yard touchdown return. And East Brunswick is on the board first, 6-0. Well, you said they were excited before the game started. What a way to get going.
Exactly. Hey, you got to wonder about J.P. Stevens deferring to the kickoff. Wow. Boy, I got to tell you, Mineta shows some excellent speed. I thought maybe number 32 for J.P. Stevens, Coward, would catch up with him, but couldn't grab his backside, and he went in.
So Bobby Mineta with the first touchdown of the season for the Bears.
Looks like Dan Cenzano is the one for the extra point, Gordy.
So Dan Cenzano puts it through the uprights, and East Brunswick on the board, 7-0, just 15 seconds into the contest.
All right. Good for East Brunswick.
Let's take a look at the starting lineups as the teams regroup. J.P. Stevens on offense. At tackle, number 72, Jamal Davis. At guard, number 54, P.J. Surik. The center is number 64, Ryan Crowley. The right guard will be 63, Brian Lemchak, and the other tackle, number 70, J.R. Sturcio. They were quarterbacked by number 12, Mike Mafucci, who we talked about before. Big week last week, 15 for 21, 228 yards, 2 touchdown passes, and a rushing touchdown. The wide receivers, number 80, Warren Chia, and number 84, Tony Smith. The tight end is number 25, Mike Petruzzi. And the running backs, number 21, Peter Kang, who will get most of the work, and number 22, Dan Sika. So East Brunswick will kick off. Brett Dunbar tees things up at the 40.
All right.
Deep for J.P. Stevens. Number 1, Jamal Allen, along with number 80, Warren Chia. Here comes Dunbar. Kind of a little chip kick, and it's fielded and then muffed by Chia, who picked it up at about the 25. And he's finally wrestled out of bounds by the kicker, Brett Dunbar. So J.P. Stevens will get excellent field position to start their first drive.
Good thing that Dunbar was there, or else we would have had a repeat of the East Brunswick kickoff. That's terrific field position for the Hawks. Gordy, we mentioned how these two teams, every time they got together, back in the 80s in particular, they were usually the two top teams in the Greater Middlesex Conference. And usually the winner of this game would pretty much have a clear shot toward the division title and a state playoff berth. So here comes J.P. Stevens. Fucci at quarterback.
And the pitch goes around the left side, and Driven out of bounds for J.P. Stevens, number 21, Peter Kang. They'll mark him to the East Brunswick 49.
Somebody's down for East Brunswick, Gordy. I don't know who it is.
Pickup of 3 on the play for Kang.
I believe that's Gagnon that's down. Real important player in the East Brunswick defensive scheme.
Talked about the good week he had last week.
Just a solid leader for this team. One of the few experienced players coming back from last season.
Yeah, talking about experience, that's something that J.P. Stevens is looking for this year as well. 7 defensive returners on both offense and defense.
Oh, Gagnon is on his feet. Stoppage of play will have to leave the field.
It's not been a good week for Jimmy. He missed 2 days, missed Thursday and Wednesday and Thursday with pink eye. But he's just back today. And he comes off gingerly. Seems to be okay. He's walking off under his own power. The J.P. Stevens comes to the line facing a 2nd and 7 after the pickup of 3 by Peter Kang. Back to throw is Mafucci. Looking left, now rolling right, over the middle, and it's picked off. Picked off at the 37-yard line by East Brunswick. Man, the Bears are off to a flying start. Big play by Chris Iafalise.
Wow.
And an inauspicious start for J.P. Stevens, to say the least.
Well, seems like East Brunswick is quite prepared for what J.P. Stevens was going to throw at him. Mafucci had a lot of time to throw, but Iafalise was looking at it all the way and made the pick.
Yeah, it was a great read. He actually let the receiver appear to be open for just a moment, then stepped in when Mafucci seemingly kind of threw a dead duck, dying quail.
Well, if John Chu was inexperienced coming into last week's game, he's experienced now.
There's Chu with a pitch to Bobby Mineta. Mineta driven out of bounds on the far sideline after a pickup of a couple, if that.
Right. First to meet him was number 54, TJ Surik, a 5'9", 180-pound senior linebacker. Well, you look at these two teams, they do look equal in size. Not like last week.
Actually going to mark Mineta for a 1-yard loss. Back to the 42, so it'll be a 2nd down and 11. Kenny Weinraub comes to the sideline for East Brunswick. Bears operating from right to left. Chu under center, calling signals on the 2nd and 11. Chu on the keeper. And Chu dragged down maybe after a 1-yard pickup at the most. PJ Surik dragged him down. They're going to mark him to the 44.
Surik, an active linebacker, in on the tackle once more.
Just underway here, opening quarter, 10:50 to go in period number 1. East Brunswick out to a 7-0 lead thanks to an 85-yard touchdown return on the kickoff by Bobby Mineta. Here's Chu on a 3rd and 9. J.P. Stevens has them almost all in the box. Chu's going to throw.
Oh,
looking downfield, high and long, and it is out of bounds and incomplete. It'll bring up a 4th down.
I'll tell you what, Chu was nailed on that play by Surik. And there's a late flag here. I don't know what this is about.
And there's a couple of them, so we'll see what the officials say.
Ineligible
receiver.
Yeah.
So J.P. Stevens will likely decline that and force East Brunswick to punt. Brett Dunbar comes on to punt.
Now Stevens gets the job done on that first series for East Brunswick, offensive series.
Yeah, I have to look back at that first penalty on J.P. Stevens, the offsides on the kickoff. I wonder how much that played a role in the 85-yard return for a touchdown by Moneta. Getting the good field position, was able to catch the ball at the 15-yard line.
So your two bookend receivers are also the prime people deep.
Tony Smith and Warren Chia deep. This is Smith from about the 22.
Took it on his knee.
Fair catch. And that's where the Hawks will start, 1st and 10.
So we get to see the Bears defensively.
Mark it at the 23-yard line, let's call it, for J.P. Stevens.
Looking to see if Gagnon is back in the game.
Second possession for J.P. Stevens. Their offensive guys haven't even broken a sweat yet. Had 2 plays, one of them an interception on their opening drive. Mafucci with the handoff straight up the middle to Peter Kang. Kang gets across the 25 to the 26-yard line.
Brought down by number 84, Brian Toti, 6'2", 179 junior.
Actually going to mark him out to the 27-yard line, so a pickup of 4. That'll bring up a 2nd down and 6 for J.P. Stevens. Jameel Allen, lone man in the backfield. Allen gets the pitch running left. Allen dragged down by Gagnon. Nice tackle by Gagnon, wrapping up the legs of Jameel Allen as he tried to break outside. Got out to the 30-yard line. They mark him for a pickup of 3 on the play. Bring up a 3rd down and 3.
That was a good tackle by Gagnon. However, you have to be a little concerned, though, if J.P. Stevens can continue to get Kang outside, and if he gets some room to run, Gordy, I think there could be some trouble for the Bears.
So a 3rd and 3, and this time it's Kang, the lone man in the backfield. Tony Smith is wide to the near side. They fake the pitch. It's going to be Mafucci on the keeper, and he's got enough for the 1st down out to the 35-yard line.
Steve Puchowski was the tackler on that. And you're right, they did get the 1st down.
8.5 to play, opening quarter, 7-0 East Brunswick. This is the 2nd offensive series for J.P. Stevens, led by head coach Frank Zarrow, now in his 8th season as head coach.
Time has flown.
He has been with the program for a total of 28 years and a teacher for 30. Long time in North Edison, Frank Zarrow. Flags fly before we get the play off.
Looks like number 76, Frank Manullo, jumped into the zone, and whistle is automatically blown.
All right, offsides. That'll give J.P. Stevens a free 5 yards. It'll be a 1st and 5. Put the ball up to the 40. Tony Smith again wide to the near side. And the handoff goes to Kang. Bounces off a couple of tacklers, and Aya Felice wraps him up.
Got about 2 on that play. Stevens went to the air 1 time, and it was picked off. So maybe they're going to test the East Brunswick middle and see what they can do.
They haven't tried the throwing yet. We know Mafucci likes to throw it. Not afraid to air it out. Here's another pitch. Jameel Allen running left. Allen knocked down, hit hard after a pickup of a couple.
And depending on where they mark it, yeah, I think he's going to have a 1st down.
Marking him just beyond the 45, and that is enough for a 1st down. Put him to the 46. That was a pickup of 3 on the play for Jameel Allen on his 2nd carry of the game. Another 1st down for J.P. Stevens. I think very content right now to grind it out on the ground. See if they're setting up for the deep pass. Tony Smith wide to the near side. There at the bottom of your screen, lower left-hand corner. Mafucci with a handoff up the middle.
Gagnon, the first one to meet him.
Peter Kang up to the 48-yard line, a pickup of 2 for Kang. 4 carries and 12 yards now for Peter Kang. Kang, the 5'9", 170-pound senior. 21 rushes, 70 yards last week in the loss to North Brunswick for Peter Kang.
I was thinking we had some hard rain last night. I thought maybe the field might be a little bit soft, but no slippage as of yet.
Dan Sika, Jameel Allen form the 2-back set. Mafucci rolling to his right and with time. Now being chased, throws. It's complete. And they finally knock out Mike Petruzzi.
Yeah.
But very close to a first down. And it looks like he got it by about a yard.
Well, Felice almost had him. And it would have been short for the first down, but Gagnon was the one that drove him out of bounds. So a string of first downs here for the Hawks. And the first completed pass for Stevens.
There's a pickup of 9 yards on the play. Another handoff up the middle, but East Brunswick ready for it that time.
Right.
Nothing doing for Peter Kang.
Good tackle by Brian Asiani, excuse me, 5'11", 259 junior.
So a loss of 1 on the play makes it 2nd and 11 for J.P. Stevens at the East Brunswick 44. Mafucci drops back, throwing to the opposite side. He's got man-on-man coverage, and it is incomplete. Pass intended for Warren Chia.
That was kind of like a timing pattern, and actually Chia was down there, and Mafucci just didn't air it out far enough. I think if he had, he would have outrun the East Brunswick defender.
So it'll bring up a 3rd down situation.
They'll be coming after Mafucci here.
This is Sika in motion.
Oh, it's
The
a
handoff
run.
goes
Wow.
to Kang with room. Kang, not enough for the first down. Although he did make it out to the 35-yard line.
That was an interesting call.
And he'll be shy by about a yard. So a gain of 9 for Kang. Spot the ball at the 35-yard line. 4th down at about 2. A little too close to punt, a little far for field goals. So they'll probably go for it here. Tony Smith wide to the near side. 2 men in the backfield. Dan Sika and Peter Kang. Warren Chia wide left. Sika in motion. Handoff goes to Kang. He's got first down yardage. Brought down by Chris Marrero as he gets to the 30-yard line. A pickup of 5 for Kang, who's been tough so far.
Yes, he has. And thus far, Stevens has been fairly successful in exploiting the middle of East Brunswick's line. Not for a lot of yardage, but it's kept the drives alive.
A fresh set of downs for J.P. Stevens with 4:10 to go here in the opening quarter. East Brunswick leads 7-0. 85-yard touchdown return off the kickoff for Bobby Mineta.
Ooh, it looks like somebody moved on the left side of J.P. Stevens' line.
Pitch to Jameel Allen, but flags fly. And a false start against J.P. That'll back the Hawks up 5. This will be the 12th play of this drive coming up. Started back at the 23-yard line. Eating up a lot of clock. So 1st and 15 from the 35-yard line of East Brunswick. Again, Tony Smith wide to the near side. Warren Chia is wide left on the far side in front of his own teammates. That's Sika in motion. Mafucci calling signals. Turns and looks for help. Steps into the pocket, escapes one tackle. Now he's going to run. Oh, and he got drilled.
Wrapped.
Big time tackle that time by Matt Kolbeck, who stepped up and put a lick on Mafucci.
And that's the liability of the quarterback running. It looks like Kolbeck. Well, he's fine. He just, something got a little rattled in his helmet.
They actually give him a gain of 1 on the play. So it'll be a 2nd down and 14. Against Smith to the near side. Chia up top. Top of your screen in the upper left-hand corner. Here's Jameel Allen. And Allen doesn't get much either. And right there again is Kolbeck.
That was that same play that Stevens used to pick up the 9 yards for 1st down. This time it didn't go.
No gain on the play that time for Jameel Allen.
So here's your 3rd and long.
3rd and 14 as J.P. Stevens breaks the huddle. 84 is Tony Smith at the bottom of your screen. Up top again is Chia, wide to the left. Peter Kang in the backfield. Mafucci's going to throw, and a blitz is on, and Mafucci is a dead duck.
Good move by East Brunswick to run the blitz there.
Chris Iafalise among those in on the stop, along with Frank Panullo. Well, they read that one the whole way.
Yeah. Well, it actually seemed like 3 guys coming in through the same hole. And before Mafucci even had a chance to set up, they nailed him. Iafalise is limping off the field.
Iafalise is favoring that right leg.
Yeah. Keep an eye on that one.
That's a loss of 8. Back to the 42-yard line.
Boy, how many plays and all for naught here? Whoa! Almost blocked.
Almost blocked. Mafucci's punt is then dropped and then fielded. Bobby Mineta able to fall on top of it and preserve the possession for East Brunswick, who will start out 1st and 10.
They will be deep in their own territory, however. On their own, looks like 13-yard line.
14 plays on that last drive for J.P. Stevens, wow. And they come up empty.
Practically used the whole quarter, too.
This ball will be spotted on the 13-yard line as East Brunswick takes over 1st and 10 with 1:14 to play in the opening quarter. Again, the full house backfield for John Chu, calling signals. Handoff straight up the middle.
Ooh.
James Gagnon across the 15 to about the 17-yard line.
Is that Surik on the tackle? Can't tell. Nope. Number 34. Go ahead, Gordy.
Now they're going to give him a gain of 4 on the play out to the 17-yard line.
Nick
Ogunlaudy.
Okay.
Makes the tackle for JP. And we give a 4-yard credit to James Gagnon. 2nd and 6 from the 17-yard line. Chu under center calling signals. And a loss on the play this time.
Really hard to get a read on who's getting the ball.
Gagnon that time with it. They're going to mark him for a yard loss.
Bears have to be careful here. They're deep in their own territory. Can't afford an interception. Chu last week, 1 completion, and that was to Gagnon. I believe it was the first pass of the game, and that was it. So 1 for 7 last week. Looks like a timeout on the field we got.
Come to the end of the 1st quarter.
Okay.
East Brunswick leads at 7-0 on that electrifying 85-yard touchdown run by Bobby Mineta to open the game. A weird set of circumstances actually to open the game. J.P. Stevens wins the coin toss, defers to the 2nd half. The first kickoff attempt, there's an offside, so they get backed up to the 35-yard line. So, of course, the kickoff return team gets to take a few steps up, and Mineta collects it at the 15 and just bolts down the left sideline. Got his shirt caught at about the 35 of J.P. Stevens or so, but it wasn't enough to slow him down, and he ran almost untouched into the end zone. And the point after by Dan Zanzano made it 7-0, and that's where we stand.
So you get Stevens come back with this long 14-play drive. They look comfortable running the ball. I think one completion in that drive. And a couple of mishaps.
I think J.P. Stevens right now is probably fortunate to be down only 7-0 when you consider after the touchdown return by Mineta, J.P. Stevens comes out, does one running play for about 5 yards, and on the next play, Mafucci gets picked off by Chris Iafalise, and it looked like East Brunswick had some momentum until they had to punt.
Yeah.
So it was a tough start for J.P. Stevens, but find themselves down by only a touchdown. And see what happens here in the second quarter.
Well, this will be a big play. Certainly if the Hawks can stop East Brunswick now, they're bound to get the ball in good field position.
Third down at about 8. James Gagnon and Mike Marrero in the backfield for John Chu. Calling signals on the 3rd and 8. Chu is going to throw it, rolling to his left, being pursued furiously by Surik.
Oh!
And is finally knocked out of bounds.
Oh, boy.
Another big play by Jeff Zuta that time, who was in hot pursuit along with TJ Surik. And it'll bring up a 4th down at about 4.
I'm wondering how Chu is. He's sort of walking off, actually jogging off a little gingerly. But he's certainly exposing himself.
Pickup of 5 that time on the carry by Chu. He's actually got 2 carries for 7 yards. Just underway, second quarter, Brett Dunbar on to punt for East Brunswick. And back to receive Warren Chia, along with Tony Smith, standing at midfield.
Chia scoring twice last week, receiving 2 touchdown passes.
And it's a high boot.
Whoa, that went off of Stevens' player.
It banged off of Warren Chia's knee. And actually, J.P. Stevens got it back. Wow, did they just dodge another bullet?
That's for sure.
Right through the arms of Warren Chia and off his knee, and it kicked forward about 5 yards, but they were able to fall on it. I think Chia probably was hoping it would roll out of bounds, but it didn't quite make it, but J.P. got it back. And they will start things off 1st and 10 at midfield with 11:40 to play here in the second quarter, and East Brunswick leading at 7-0. Mike Mafucci, the quarterback. And the handoff to Peter Kang. And Kang stopped right there by Matt Kolbeck, who's having a heck of a night so far for East Brunswick with some very important tackles.
Those linebackers are very active for the Bears. Gagnon, Kolbeck, Romero.
So it's a pickup of 2 for Peter Kang. And it'll bring up a 2nd and 8. Eight carries, 27 yards for Peter Kang of J.P. Stevens.
What do we got here?
Looks like an equipment problem for J.P. Stevens. The referee sent off Mike Petruzzi. And the official had a quick word with head coach Frank Zarro. Players certainly seem interested for J.P. Stevens. They've all got their backs to the field of play.
Meanwhile, the Hawks, I guess they're going to wait until
Actually,
this is...
they're really surrounding him now. I wonder if he's okay.
It's like Allen's coming in to replace Petruzzi.
2nd and 8 for J.P. Stevens as we get set to restart with 11 minutes to go here in the second quarter.
Well, they're stacked to the right here.
Mafucci with 2 receivers wide right. Peter Kang gets the pitch off the right side. Kang with room. Kang across the 40 and across the 30-yard line. Knocked down finally at the 28-yard line. A big run that time.
Yeah, Chu was the one
20
that
yards.
was being dragged along. Chu, the quarterback on offense. And finally, Colbeck had to come back and nail him down. But, whoop, that was a good run.
And one thing about Peter Kang that we've seen tonight, he runs north-south. Haven't seen a lot of lateral stuff. Finds a hole and just tries to exploit it right off the bat. So a fresh set of downs for J.P. Stevens at the 28-yard line of East Brunswick. And a handoff once again to Kang, and he's got room. Big hole, steps through the middle and into the end zone. Touchdown, Peter Kang, a 28-yard TD run, and J.P. Stevens is within a point.
That's about as north as you're going to get. Nothing fancy there.
Wow, all of a sudden out of nowhere, the last 2 carries, Peter Kang, 2 carries, 48 yards, and a touchdown. That's a pretty impressive average, about
yes.
24 per pop. And for J.P. Stevens, Seth Horowitz is on for the point after for J.P. Stevens. This would tie the game, 10:22 to go.
Blocked.
And it's blocked, so East Brunswick will stay in the lead by the score of 7-6.
Okay.
They come up with the big plays. So with 10:22 to go here in the first half, East Brunswick hanging on to a 7-6 lead over GMC Red Division rival J.P. Stevens.
I believe Panula was the one that was in there. Got his hand on the ball. Kind of get the feeling this is not going to be the end of this game. 7-6. Going to get some more points here.
So the drive for J.P. Stevens, 3 plays, 50 yards, capped off by the 28-yard touchdown run by Peter Kang. His first of the season.
It's Mamero and Mineta back deep for the Bears. 40 Allen's going to kick off for J.P. Stevens.
Jameel Allen once again. Remember what happened last time he kicked off. His line drive was fielded at the 15 and taken back for a touchdown by Bobby Mineta. This time it's James Gagnon, one of the up men, who's crossed 35 to about the 37-yard line.
Wow.
And East Brunswick will take possession for the second time here in the second quarter.
It's like number 30, Dan Lurie, was the one that whacked Gagnon, but Laurie's the one that got up slow.
Numbers are scary so far for J.P. Stevens running back Peter Kang. 10 carries, 75 yards, and a touchdown. Of course, 48 of those, more than half, came on the last 2 carries. Otherwise, the Bears defense has held them in check.
Different set here.
Gagnon and Mineta in the backfield for John Chu. Calling signals was 2 men wide left. Chu with a keeper up the middle, going nowhere in a hurry. He was stacked up immediately. No gain on the play.
Looks like he was waiting for something to develop and then decided to just take the ball up the middle. That's the liability with the E-bone. You have a precious half a second to make a decision as to what you're going to do with that ball. And if the opening is not there, you got to take it yourself.
I wonder what it says about Jimmy Gagnon right now and his health, being that he missed 2 days this week with pink eye, because right now, John Chu, almost midway through the second quarter, is the leading rusher with 3 carries. Kenny Weinraub goes wide to the far side. He's up at the upper right-hand corner of your screen. I formation this time with Gagnon and Mineta. Chu calling signals.
Whoops.
Thinks about the pitch, keeps it himself, and is buried.
Yeah.
That play seemed to never develop.
Well, he had a choice, and once he saw that Mineta was covered, had to hold on to it himself.
Number 72, Jamal Davis, in on the stop for J.P. Stevens.
JP is playing this option very well.
So East Brunswick breaks the huddle, facing a third down and about 11. Loss of 1 for Chu on the last carry, and now flags fly before the play starts, and it's a delay of game against East Brunswick, so it'll bring up a third down and about 16 now.
On a 3rd and 10, that's not exactly what you wanted. East Brunswick not particularly adept at making up large chunks of yardage. They're more of the grinded out, so they're faced with having to need 15 yards to get the first down.
8:39 to go, first half. East Brunswick 7, JP Stevens 6. Special teams has been a factor so far, that's for sure. East Brunswick's kickoff return team has delivered its only touchdown, and the JP Stevens point after team has missed an extra point. 2 men wide to the near side. And another flag flies. And yet another delay of game against East Brunswick. Back go the Bears, another 5 yards back to the 26-yard line.
Mr. Official must have a stopwatch out there. They get 25 seconds. Get a play off.
Back-to-back penalties. East Brunswick needs to get to the 47-yard line. It's a 3rd down and 21. Almost forces them into a throwing situation. Let's see if they try to use that scenario as a decoy. Chu looks to throw. Throws to the weak side, but it's incomplete.
Now that was well covered by Allen and also by number 22, Sika.
It's ended there for Greg Nagy. The 4th down, and the Bears will have to punt. So a 3 and out again for East Brunswick, and the JP Stevens defense right now seems to have taken control of the game.
Yeah, they look very sharp on that series.
Tony Smith and Warren Chia deep to receive for JP Stevens, standing on about the 44-yard line as Brett Dunbar stands at about the 13, ready to punt for EB. 8:34 to play, first half. Here's the snap. Here's Dunbar's kick. And it's taken by Smith at the 41.
Whoa!
Smith at the 45 and stumbles forward to about the 47-yard line. A return of about 6 yards, and JP Stevens again with good field position. Call it the 47-yard line.
Well, a gentleman down there for East Brunswick by the number 35, Dimitri, and I'll tell you what, Taviscott. Hope I have that close. But anyway, this guy comes barreling down the middle of the field, ran right into the interference, and actually, even though he didn't make the tackle, stopped him enough so that they could finish him off.
There's Mafucci on the keeper, and not much doing for the JP Stevens quarterback. Drop for a loss on the play from the 46. They mark him now inside the 45. Called the 44-yard line, so it's a loss of 2 from Mafucci.
Tackle Brian Asiani, first one in there for East Brunswick.
Here comes Tony Smith with the play for JP Stevens. Clock moves at 7:45 to go, second quarter. Smith goes wide to the far side. The near side is number 80, Warren Chia. 2 men in the backfield for Mike Mafucci. Mafucci's going to throw. Rolling to his left, has to stop, and little jump shot pass that was intended for Matt Hendrickson, number 40. But the pass falls incomplete, and it'll bring up a 3rd down. Third down and 11 for JP Stevens. Actually about 11 and a half yards. Let's see if Mafucci throws again. He likes to throw. Instead, they go the handoff to Peter Kang, and Kang is going to be shy of the first down by a couple of yards. Got into the East Brunswick secondary and across midfield. Finally stopped at about.
Hawks have been moving the ball pretty decently here. Think they're going to go for it? Nope.
Out the East Brunswick 47-yard line.
Looks like they're going to bring their punt team in.
9-yard pickup for Kang.
Fucci is still in there, however.
Kang right now with 84 yards rushing already for JP.
Fucci's deep for the Hawks to punt.
4th down and about 4, and JP Stevens will give it up. They fake the punt. Jameel Allen takes the snap. Allen with first down yardage as he gets down to the 35-yard line. Well executed fake that time by Frank Zaro's troops. Mafucci sold it well by indicating that the ball had gone over his head, and he turned around to chase it, and that seemed to freeze East Brunswick for just a moment. And Jameel Allen gets JP Stevens a first down.
Gordy, you said well executed, and that was the key to the success of that play. They look like they've practiced it well. It was very well disguised, and it just took Allen just running around the right side. East Brunswick was not prepared.
Give credit to Jameel Allen. 11 yards on the carry. Here comes Kang again. Kang with lots of room across the 30, 25, and knocked out of bounds at about the 25-yard line.
And how about a super block by number 40, Matt Hendrickson, that freed him up, opened that whole left side.
Kenny Weinraub rode him out of bounds, but not before Kang was able to get to the 20-yard line. Gain of 16 for Kang, and that puts him at an even 100 for the game. So Peter Kang already 100 yards rushing on the night for JP Stevens. Two men in the backfield again for Mafucci. And this time it's Jameel Allen, and Allen is stopped almost immediately by Matt Kolbeck.
A lot of talking going on now.
Very good tackle by Matt Kolbeck. Gain of 1 to the 19-yard line for Jameel Allen. Clock continues to move with 5:45 to play here in the second quarter. Five carries, 18 yards for Jameel Allen. Lone man in the backfield is Peter Kang. Dan Sika in motion. Mafucci fakes the pitch and will take it himself. Mafucci to about the 16-yard line.
It's like Puchowski would not go for that fake. Was able to put a grasp on Mafucci.
Pickup of 3 for Mike Mafucci to the 16-yard line. Bring up a 3rd down and about 6.
Boy, Stevens eating up a lot of clock here.
Mafucci this time with a handoff to Kang, and East Brunswick was ready for it. Mike Marrero in on the stop for East Brunswick, sniffed it out right away.
Right. Also an assistant, Matt Jander now. 6 foot, 184-pound junior.
No gain on the play.
Key play, and I think we're going to have a timeout for JP Stevens.
So first time out of the game. 4:25 to go, second quarter. East Brunswick leads it by the score of 7-6.
Cordy, if I have a chance, a couple quick announcements given to us by Frank Knoppenberger, supervisor of athletics. Extends thanks and congratulations to the girls and Coach Caruso as they took first place in Piscataway's fall tournament this past weekend. These are the ball girls, the Central Jersey Hotshots. Catherine Smith, Casey Caruso, Kirsten Gash, Christine Knoppenberger, I recognize that name, Caitlin Westcott, and Carly Breenan. Girls tennis team is currently moving along with a 2-1 record.
That seemed like a very generic endorsement by you. Moving along with a 2-1 record, you want to elaborate on that at all? Or?
I'm just reading what they're giving me here. I'm wondering who they played, who they won and lost to.
I think that's what your moving along comment meant. Not really sure who the competition's been, but hey, at 2-1, they got to be moving along. 667 winning percentage. I mean, that's pretty good.
Actually, 666.
Oh, you got to round up, or else it doesn't really seem even.
Oh, yeah.
All right, here we go. Mafucci for J.P. Stevens on the 4th down. Rolling to his right, being pursued by Gagnon, who got him, and the pass is complete on the far side with a flag on the play. We'll see what that's all about. Tony Smith made the reception.
I bet you that's an illegal player downfield.
That or they're going to wave off interference.
They're
picking up the flag.
Okay.
So there will be no penalty.
That's a key pass completion.
They're going to spot the ball on the 5-yard line. So an 11-yard pickup on the play. And it's 1st and goal from the 5. J.P. Stevens threatening to take the lead here late in the 2nd quarter. Mafucci calling signals on the 1st and goal. It's a pitch to Peter Kang with room around the left side, and Kang is going to roll into the end zone for a touchdown.
Well, that was an east-west run.
So Peter Kang has given J.P. Stevens the lead. For Kang, that is his 2nd touchdown of the night.
Oh, he just keeps on rolling up the yardage, too. Looks like they're going to go for 2 here.
4:09 to play, 2nd quarter. This is Mafucci, and he's dragged down by Colbeck. And the lead will hold at 12-7.
Well, we got flags here, but I bet you they're against Stevens here. Let's see what's...
Quick discussion among the referees and see what the call is. A procedure call against J.P. Stevens. That'll be declined. And
so why do they continue to talk?
Is that how it works? Maybe I'm mistaken.
Against East Brunswick.
Offsetting penalties.
Aha.
We'll do this again.
What was that call?
Peter Kang for J.P. Stevens, 14 carries, 105 yards, 2 touchdowns. And East Brunswick has to do something to solve his running ability, or it could be a long second half.
Well, these offsetting penalties work to the benefit of J.P. Stevens. They actually get another shot.
So an illegal shift and an illegal substitution. They offset, and we'll do it again. That J.P. Stevens drive, 10 plays, 54 yards. Scoring drive, they have now scored on 2 consecutive drives, both long ones. 50-yard drive on the first scoring drive, and this one of 54 yards. So J.P. Stevens appears to have found an offensive rhythm here in the 2nd quarter. So now we are saying, I guess, that play stands. So there will be no second shot at the 2-point conversion. The first one failed, and that's enough. 12-7. J.P. Stevens leads with 4:09 to play here in the first half. So Peter Kang is the unsolved equation so far for East Brunswick. How will the Bears stop Kang from running all over the field? 14 carries, 105 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
The East Brunswick defense has been on the field for pretty much the entire first half. Only a couple of series for the East Brunswick offense. Of course, they scored on the opening kickoff, but that's been the extent of their offense tonight. I think they picked up 1 first down so far.
East Brunswick in danger here of going now the first game and a half without an offensive touchdown. Jameel Allen will kick it off for J.P. Stevens. It's a line drive, and wouldn't you know it, a flag flies.
Gotta be offside.
This is unlike the game we saw last week, which was played pretty cleanly. So here's the scenario we saw on the opening kickoff of the game where J.P. Stevens was offsides on the kickoff. That moved Jameel Allen back 5 yards, and Next thing you know, Bobby Mineta is fielding the second kick and running it back 85 yards for a touchdown for East Brunswick's only score. Will we experience a little deja vu? We'll see what happens. Jameel Allen tees it up at the 30 rather.
Why is it?
Yeah, it's
supposed to be at the 35.
Ball spotted at the 30 right now. Offsides is only a 5-yard penalty from what I understand, so. Well, I guess somebody from J.P. Stevens finally spoke up. East Brunswick, I think, was content to zip the lip and put the 5 yards in their pocket for the time being. So Jameel Allen has been to the 40, he's been to the 30, now is back at the 35-yard line getting set to kick off. Here comes Allen's kick. There's another line drive. And it's going to be fielded by Mineta. Watch out, and again, it's from the 15-yard line. It is a little deja vu up the middle.
Oh.
And he goes end over end, does Mineta, and has dropped at about the 37-yard line. So decent field position for the Bears with 4 minutes to go. Here in the second quarter, they trail it 12-7.
They need to do something a little bit different. Chu has been primarily the ball carrier for East Brunswick, and now they're starting to take a beat on him. Somehow they're going to have to mix it up with a little bit of a pass.
Well, I think that's part of the problem so far is that they haven't shown that they can be dangerous with the pass.
Right, and Stevens.
Not that they're not capable, but Chu has only thrown one time so far. And
just take a look at that J.P. Stevens defense.
Pretty soon, J.P. Stevens, you can see, is pretty much loading it up in the box and just coming after Chu. 2 men in the backfield. That's Marrero and Gagnon. Chu calling signals on the 1st and 10 from the 37. He's going to keep it himself. Running to the right-hand side, being pursued heavily by Jameel Allen, and Allen wraps him up at the 40-yard line after a pickup of about 3 on the play. He's actually been probably the most effective runner East Brunswick has had.
He has, and out of necessity, quite honestly, because really he has not been optioning the ball to any of his backs like Gagnon in the backfield, and I'm not, I don't know how. Let's see, Chu's size is what?
Small.
5'8", 144 pounds. It's one thing for a quarterback who has some stature and size to be able to run the ball like Chu has, but after a while, you got to think he's going to get worn down.
5 carries, 9 yards for John Chu, by far the busiest rusher in the East Brunswick attack so far. We'll see what happens here on the 2nd and 7. Full house backfield for Chu this time. Fake the handoff to Mineta, throwing deep. He's got man coverage, and he overthrows Kenny Weinraub. And we've got a flag on the play. Boy, Weinraub really broke free at the last minute and had at least 2 or 3 steps on Tony Smith, who was defending.
Looks like an illegal procedure against East Brunswick. Wonder if the Stevens is going to take this. Nice.
Full start against East Brunswick, so it's declined.
Jeff Zuda, all 6'4", 235 pounds of him, was zeroing in on Chu. Kind of made him hurry the throw. And they are going to refuse it, are they not?
They are refusing it. So the ball stays at the 40. It'll bring up a 3rd down. 3rd down, about 7. Chu with the handoff this time to Mike Marrero. Look out, Marrero's free across the 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Mike Marrero.
How about that straight arm there toward the end?
A 60-yard touchdown run by Mike Marrero. And another big play has put East Brunswick back in front.
Wow.
I'll tell you what, last week we saw Marrero do it on defense with the 12 solo tackles, many of them wicked hits. And tonight, his touchdown run of 60 yards has put East Brunswick back in front with 3:34 to go in the second quarter.
Easily the best play from scrimmage for East Brunswick tonight.
First offensive touchdown of the season. Cinzano for the point after, and it's good.
Yes, it is.
And East Brunswick leads it by the score of 14-12. 3 plays, 63 yards. capped off by the 60-yard touchdown run by Mike Marrero.
That was a great call. I think Stevens was expecting the pass, probably intended for Weinrob, who's been the primary receiver. All of a sudden, a quick pop to the right side of the line, and Marrow's off to the races.
Yeah, you know, we talked about how dangerous it could be because J.P. Stevens was loading guys up in the box, knowing that Chu probably isn't going to throw it. He's only thrown one pass, so the run has been fairly predictable, and the blockers do a great job, make a huge hole for Marrero. He blows through it and runs untouched into the end zone for 60 yards. How about his stats for tonight? 1 carry, 60 yards. Average, 60 yards per carry.
There you go.
Guy's going to be demanding the ball at halftime. It's kind of tough to argue. So we've got ourselves a good one here. 3.5 to go, first half. 14-12. East Brunswick has taken the lead. It's almost like guerrilla warfare with these quick strikes. Get in, get out. 85-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. A 60-yard run from scrimmage for a touchdown. As opposed to J.P. Stevens, which has grinded it out on 2 drives of at least 50 yards. So Brett Dunbar will kick it off for East Brunswick. While we have a crystal clear night. Fantastic night. Last week was pretty nice too, but it's still kind of summery. Tonight there's a little hint of autumn in the air.
Oh yeah.
Jameel Allen and Warren Chia are the deep men for J.P. Stevens. Line drive will come to Chia at the 21. Chia at the 30, out to the 33-yard line where he stopped there.
That was excellent coverage by East Brunswick's kickoff team. Not allowing Chia to get loose.
So J.P. Stevens will go 1st and 10 from the 33-yard line.
It's like number 52, Ryan Schmidt. First one down there on the tackle.
Warren Chia wide at the near side for J.P. Stevens. Players taking their time getting ready here. Officials are making them wait, not sure why. Now we're set to go. Chia wide to the near side. Tony Smith is wide up top. That's Dan Sika in motion. Pitch right goes to Peter Kang. Escapes one tackle, but not the next. James Gagnon in there again.
Yeah, but you know who really made that play was Mike Marrero coming in on his left side. Ran that blocker right into his own man and allowed Gagnon to finish off the job.
Yeah, Marrero really instigated that whole thing. Forced Kang to change direction for just a moment, and Gagnon was in there to put on the final lick.
Boy, Mike Marrero is really turning out to be a fine player for East Brunswick.
Well, a loss of almost 6 on the play that time. Now a quick out for Tony Smith, who's looking to throw. Smith running up, it's dragged down from behind.
Boy, Gagnon has been all over the field. Well, obviously that play had designs to be another pass, but no, I didn't see anybody downfield for J.P. Stevens. And we have a timeout on the field here. You know, East Brunswick could really get the ball in good field position here with plenty of time to try to make another touchdown. If they can stop him right here.
All right, now, you know, last week you challenged me to do some stats, so I'm doing some stats. Now, that Mafucci to Tony Smith hookup was not a pass completion.
Okay.
Otherwise, that would have to be a forward pass because he was looking to throw it, so it had to be a lateral.
Lateral, so, which means
So
if he
we'll
fumbled
just-
it would have been live.
Right, so we'll just score Smith that time for a loss of 27. No gain on the rush that time.
Here we go.
Here's Jameel Allen again around the left side, dragged out of bounds across the 35-yard line. He'll be shy of the first down. It'll bring up a 4th down for J.P. Stevens.
And he's not out of bounds, so the clock continues to run. Wonder if East Brunswick wants to use a timeout here.
And Jameel Allen gets up to the 37-yard line, so a nice gain of 10, but it's shy of the first down. 4th down at about 6 for J.P. Stevens. Clock moves with a minute 35 to play here in the first half. Mike Mafucci on to punt. Bobby Mineta and Mike Marrero. The two guys have been the big play guys for East Brunswick so far tonight. Here's Mafucci.
Oh! That's a partial block
He
there.
got a piece of that.
Oh, yeah.
Nice play by John Chu, who was able to get in there and partially block that kick. And look at the field position East Brunswick has right now. They take over on the J.P. Stevens 36. And special teams has been huge in this game so far on both sides of the football.
Trying to remember if East Brunswick has used a timeout. I'm not aware. I think they have all 3 left.
Well, they're in great field position here with a chance to pad that 2-point lead before the intermission. Kenny Weinraub goes wide left. He's at the top of your screen. Full house backfield for Johnny Chu. Chu calling signals on the 1st and 10 from the 36. Handoff goes straight up the middle. This is Jimmy Gagnon. Maybe picked up 1 out to the 35-yard line.
All right, the Bears have to be in a little bit of a hurry.
They'll give Gagnon 1, and now they finally call timeout with a minute to go here in the first half, and they'll talk things over. That's only the 3rd carry of the night for Gagnon. Give him 1. He's got a total of 4 yards on the night on 3 carries.
No, he's made his mark defensively for the Bears. But we'll have to see if East Brunswick can get it in. I don't know. This is a situation where the E-bone is not the type of offense you want to be using, because you don't get the opportunity for large chunks of play, that touchdown notwithstanding. But if Chu can somehow find, and I think Weinraub is the one that you want to be looking for on a fly pattern. He seems to be at his best on one-on-one situations.
He seems to have a speed advantage over Tony Smith, who has picked him up a couple of times in the defensive backfield. We did see on the one play where he did have at least 2 or 3 steps on Tony Smith, but the ball was overthrown. So we'll see if they go to that here, try to get that one-on-one coverage again.
That's what I think is going to happen. I think they're going to try that timing pattern where they can see if Weinraub can just outrun his defender and fall under that ball. That's a favorite play of East Brunswick in the past.
All right, let's see what happens. There goes Weinraub, top of your screen, wide to the left-hand side. Jimmy Gagnon, Mike Marrero in the backfield. Mineta in as well. Chu calling signals on the 2nd and 9 from the 35. Looking to get one more score before halftime. Chu drops to throw, looking over the middle. There's Weinraub, and he threw it wide. He was open. Jameel Allen was there, but Weinraub was open. It would have been a first down, but it goes incomplete. It'll bring up a 3rd and 9.
Allen was going to make very sure that he did not allow Weinraub to get behind him, and that set it up for a completion.
So the clock stops on the incomplete pass. 54 seconds left to go. First half.
So you have Weinraub going out of the game.
Weinraub is out, and Matt Kolbeck checks in. Bobby Mineta to the sideline as well, in favor of Mike Marrero. So it's Marrero, Iafalise, Gagnon in. Chu calling signals. 3rd and 9 from the 35. Fake the handoff, now a pitch. Iafalise looking to throw. He's got a man open just out of the overstretched hands of Matt Kolbeck. He had a chance on it, but there was some pretty good coverage on the play by J.P. Stevens. So Marcus Borden with a little trickery of his own here late in the first half.
How about that throw by Iafalise? It was nice.
A little pattern toward the corner. And it'll bring up a 4th and 9.
Bears still with 2 timeouts, so they can afford to just go for the first down here. Oh, they're going to punt.
They're going to punt. This will be an ideal time for a fake. Maybe not. 46 seconds to go. What do you think? Fairly deep in their territory.
I would go for it.
J.P. Stevens doesn't have anybody deep.
That's what they're going to do.
Oh, nice angling punt. Wow. Nice touch. Out of bounds at the 2-yard line.
Wow.
Nice punt by Brett Dunbar. Actually going to mark it at the 1. You just can't get any better than that. Angled it out of bounds. J.P. Stevens didn't have anybody deep, and it cost him.
And you got to feel that the Hawks are going to do nothing more than be conservative here.
So 38 seconds to go in the first half. J.P. Stevens from its own 1 yard line. 99 yards of real estate in front. They trail by 2.
Oh gosh, I have a flash of deja vu coming back here. Similar situation a number of years ago, and one George Booth for J.P. Stevens just before halftime. Took off on a 99-yard run for a touchdown. That was during the Central Jersey State playoffs.
Mafucci will keep it himself. J.P. Stevens elects to go conservative here. Remember, they do receive the kickoff to start the second half. And the Hawks are in no particular hurry.
That could be the last play of the half.
Let's give Mafucci credit for 2 yards on the carry. Out to the 3 yard line, where it will bring up a 2nd down and 8. And that is the end of the first half. We'll take a look at the stats in just a minute. Let's take a look at some of those first half stats, Jimmy. For J.P. Stevens, one name jumps out at you, Peter Kang. 15 carries, 99 yards, 2 touchdowns. Especially the one was a 28-yard run into the end zone that temporarily gave J.P. Stevens the lead. Passing, J.P. Stevens, Mike Mafucci, 2 for 5, 20 yards. But really, Peter Kang actually was over the 100-yard mark, was actually at 105 yards and then lost six on his 15th carry, so he's back to 99.
Right.
But an impressive first half for Peter Kang. On the East Brunswick side of the ball, the leading rusher, John Chu, who carried 5 times for 9 yards. And Chu passing was 0 for 2. Aya Felice, 0 for 1. So not a lot of statistics for East Brunswick, but there's 2 you need to know. Mike Marrero, 1 carry for a 60-yard touchdown, and the 85-yard kickoff return by Bobby Mineta. And that's where we stand at halftime. East Brunswick 14, J.P. Stevens 12. Stay tuned, the second half is coming up. All right, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. Getting set for third quarter action here at J. Doyle Field at East Brunswick High School. Gordy Deal alongside Jimmy Allinder. East Brunswick leads this one by the score of 14-12, but it certainly has not been the offense grinding it out, putting up the points on the board. It's been two huge plays on the opening play of the game, a 85-yard kickoff return for a touchdown by Bobby Manetta, and then later on a 60-yard touchdown run from scrimmage by Mike Marrero. 2 point afters by Dan Cinzano have given East Brunswick the 14 points. J.P. Stevens, on the other hand, has pounded out one drive of 50 yards and another drive of 54 yards. Peter Kang with 2 touchdown runs for J.P. Stevens. And we are hearing now that the touchdown return on the kickoff by Manetta, the second longest in school history.
Interesting.
Very interesting. So 2 huge plays for East Brunswick. Can the big plays carry you for 2 more quarters? We'll see. 2-point difference right now, and J.P. Stevens will get the ball to start the third quarter. Take a look at some of those first half stats that we were talking about a couple of moments ago. East Brunswick's leading rusher, the quarterback, John Chu, carried 5 times for 9 yards. Jimmy Gagnon, 3 carries for 4 yards. Remember, he missed 2 days early in the week with pink eye and was just declared eligible today. Mike Marrero, 1 carry, the 60-yard touchdown run. It's been a big night for him. We saw him last week with those monster tackles on defense. He turns it around, and he's doing the job on offense tonight. Chu passing 0 for 2. Chris Iafalise threw a pass. He's 0 for 1. So that's where we stand. J.P. Stevens led by Peter Kang, 15 carries, 99 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Mike Mafucci, the quarterback, carried 5 times for 9 yards. And Jameel Allen even in on the action, 6 carries, 28 yards. Mafucci passing 2 for 5, total of 20 yards. Tony Smith, 1 catch for 11 yards. Mike Petruzzi, the other catch, for 9 yards.
And having diverted to the second half, Stevens does get the ball to begin this second half of play. This is a crucial quarter, crucial half for East Brunswick. If they win this game, they're back on it, evens their record at 1-1, and they certainly don't want to find themselves down 0-2 in this young season. So a crucial half coming up for the Bears.
You got to give them credit, too, leading 14-12, and they come off a big loss last week. They lose 2 starters. Left tackle Scott Anderson out with a head injury, and left guard / defensive end Jason Carbone out with a strained knee ligament. Both are expected back, but, here's second week, and you're out with 2 starters. Here's the kickoff by Dunbar. It's fielded at about the 19-yard line, and racing down the left sideline was number 80 for J.P. Stevens, Warren Chia, and he was drilled out of bounds.
Yeah, he was nailed by a couple of players. He talked about special teams play. East Brunswick's kickoff defense team has really been up to it. Stevens hasn't had really super field position.
J.P. Stevens starting the third quarter, 1st and 10 from its own 38-yard line.
All right, let's see if the Bears play with a little bit of emotion on defense.
Mike Mafucci, the quarterback, is going to throw. Mafucci in trouble, takes a hit from behind. The pass is caught at the 45-yard line.
Wow.
Nice reception by Tony Smith.
Thought Mafucci took a little bit of a late hit there, but no flag.
Out to the, call it the 45-yard line, a pickup of 7 on the play on the reception by Smith. His second catch of the game.
Now, as we pointed toward up front, Stevens can and will pass the ball.
Handoff goes straight up the middle. That's enough for a first down. Peter Kang the carry, 5-yard pickup to midfield.
There he goes again. Picking up right where he left off. Workhorse back for J.P. Stevens.
Minute gone by, third quarter. J.P. Stevens, 1st and 10 from midfield. Warren Chia wide to the near side, along with Dan Sika. Top of the screen is Tony Smith. Mafucci looking to throw. He's got a player open, and it's off the outstretched fingertips that time of Warren Chia. Incomplete. It'll bring up a 2nd and 10. Well, we know Mafucci could be effective throwing the ball. He had 2 touchdown passes last week in the loss to North Brunswick and even ran for another. He accounted for all 3 J.P. Stevens touchdowns. We talked about them being in the game, in fact, trailing 14-12 last week, as they do this week, but they wound up losing 48-18, so they got blown out by North Brunswick's size last week. Mafucci under all kinds of pressure, dumps it up. Dan Sika with the reception at the 45, flagging the play. Sika still on his feet. Sika with room around the 40. Sika 30, 20, 15, down at the 10-yard line, but a flag way back near the line of scrimmage.
Got to think this is going to come back.
All the way to the 10-yard line. It would be a 40-yard completion.
Might this be an eligible receiver downfield? Looks like those linemen were off to the races just a little before that screen was set up.
Indeed, it is the call.
So what a large play is negated there.
The clock is stopped with 10:33 to go, third quarter. Just underway here in the second half. East Brunswick leads at 14-12.
And
So back J.P. Stevens up to their own 45-yard line.
And that's a loss of down as well. Isn't it? Check that. It's not.
So it's a 2nd and 15. Mafucci rolling to his left, gets some great protection. And Mafucci back to just about the original line of scrimmage, actually about a yard shy of it, out to the 49-yard line. So a pick up a 4 on the play from Mafucci.
Yeah, the Hawks with a 3rd and long.
They need to get to the East Brunswick 40. Call it a 3rd and 11. Mafucci with a quick throw. Warren Chia, boy, he was tackled just shy of the 40-yard line. They might need a measurement for this, although it looks like he's on the wrong side of the 40-yard line.
Yeah, he's going to be a little bit short. But imagine they're going to go for this.
So credit him for an 8-yard reception.
Simple crossing pattern by Chia and smartly thrown by Mafucci.
4th completion of the game so far in the second half. He's 2 for 3, 15 yards.
Boy, I'll tell you what, if he got it, he just got it.
Mafucci is lying there on the 40-yard line, and they're going to bring in a measurement.
Wow, let's see. East Brunswick might have got a favorable mark there.
Nose of the football is kissing the 40-yard line. They're going to bring on the chain gang. This is really close. Did not get it. He missed it by that much. So no gain on the play from Mafucci. And East Brunswick takes over on downs.
All right, a nice defensive stop by East Brunswick. And let's see if they can capitalize here. They've got the momentum on their side.
So the 6-play drive stalls for J.P. Stevens. You've got to give the East Brunswick defense some credit there for holding the Hawks in check on their opening drive of the 3rd quarter. East Brunswick takes over, 1st and 10 from its own 40. First series of the 3rd quarter for the Bears. John Chu under center calling signals with the full house backfield. Struggling with the handoff to Marrero, who gained a yard to the 41 before he was knocked down there by number 54, P.J. Surik. Gain of 1 on the play, called a 2nd and 9.
Surik's been active all evening. We've been calling his number.
8:15 to play, third quarter, still 14-12. East Brunswick in search of its first victory of the season. Both teams coming in with a mark of 0-1 after sizable defeats last week. Kenny Weinraub. Looks like we're going to have a delay of game penalty against East Brunswick, something we saw hurt them in the first half. Illegal substitution for East Brunswick actually is the call. That'll back the Bears up 5. So it's a second down and 15 from the 36-yard line.
Kind of taking their time here, too.
Now Weinraub, upper right-hand corner of your screen. He's wide to the far side. Chu is going to throw. In and out of the hands of Weinraub.
Seems like Weinraub and Chu have just not been able to connect with each other. Weinraub is able to get open, but you got to deliver that ball.
So 3rd and 15 now for EB. 7:26 to go, third quarter. Here comes Chu with the play as he joins the huddle. And we see Marrero check in. And Brian Tote check out. 3rd and 15. Chu calling signals. He's going to throw it again.
Look out.
Under pressure. And he's dragged down for a big loss. Surik was in there again for J.P. Stevens.
Boy, they move him around depending on the situation, and he had a beeline at Chu. And good defensive stand.
Loss of 10 on the play. And it'll bring up a 4th down and forever, and East Brunswick will have to punt.
Hawks will get the ball in decent field shape, actually excellent field shape.
For the Bears, number 14, Brett Dunbar, back to punt.
So we got a single setback. Looks like they might be going for the block here.
Oh boy, Dunbar dropped the snap and had a knee down when he tried to cover it up. Well, that's a tough break for East Brunswick right there. Marcus Gordon's not happy, but this team will have to come up big on defense now. From the 15-yard line is where J.P. Stevens will get the ball.
Boy, the Hawks were coming like a house of fire that time. Dunbar could have been a little bit nervous. Nonetheless, though, he downed it on the knee.
6:35 to go, third quarter. J.P. Stevens breaks the huddle. They trail by 2, looking to get back in this game and take the lead. Mafucci with a pitch to Kang. Peter Kang across the 10. Actually, maybe just to the 10. Pickup of 5 on the play. It'll bring up a second down and 5. 17 carries, 109 yards, and 2 touchdowns so far tonight for Peter Kang. He's been big for J.P. Stevens. Clock moves with 6:05 to play, third quarter. Warren Chia wide to the near side. Tony Smith is wide right. That's Sika in motion. Handoff straight up the middle to Kang. Kang forward to about 7.
Cordy really liked the way he runs with the ball. He's got his eyes set on the line, and he doesn't really commit. He just looks to find the hole and then shoots right on through.
It's called the 7-yard line. Pick up a 3 on the play for Kang. Bring up a 3rd down and 2. Kang, the lone man in the backfield. Mafucci calling signals with Sika in motion. It's Kang. Kang with first down yardage across the 5-yard line, maybe to the 4.
This is the way Stevens has been doing it all evening.
Let's mark it to the 3-yard line with a pickup of 4 for Peter Kang. He's been the workhorse here on this drive for J.P. Stevens. Clock moves, 4:55 to go, third quarter. J.P. Stevens trails by 2, but threatening to get back on the board here. Again, Kang is the lone setback. The handoff to Kang running to his left, and he stopped shy of the goal line.
Nice tackle by Colbeck. Perhaps a little too much Kang.
Bears, number 64, Steve Wachowski. Second and goal.
Maybe they give him to the 2-yard, they give him to the 2. Let's give Kang a pickup of 1 on the play. It's a second down and goal from the 2. Again, it's Kang,
Oh,
and he's in
terrific
for the touchdown.
Terrific run by Kang. Again, he just didn't have any room there on the inside, shifted to the right, and found his way through for the touchdown. Well, you talk about a drive featuring a player's abilities. That was a terrific drive for Stevens there off that mishap by East Brunswick.
Timeout, J.P. Stevens, they debate whether to go for 1 or 2.
So 5 plays, 15 yards,
Next home game again here at J. Doyle Field for the Bears will be on Saturday.
and we've got a timeout.
I think they're going to discuss how they may go about going for a 2-point conversion here.
Well, J.P. Stevens leads it now by 4, 18-14. The 2-point conversion would make it a 6-point game as opposed to a point after, which would make it a 5-point game. Third touchdown of the night for Peter Kang. And he carried. All 5 plays were his carries on that drive.
Yep. He can tack on that yardage from that drive onto his total. This marks the second week in a row that an opponent has rushed for over 100 yards. We were wondering about Saraville's Jimmy Miller last week. He finished with 125 yards rushing for the Bombers.
21 carries, 119 yards right now for Peter Kang. Plus the 3 touchdowns. It looks like Stevens will go for 2. 4:03 to play, third quarter.
Somebody's going out now.
Stevens in the lead for the second time tonight. They led earlier 12-7 for Mike Marrero's 60-yard touchdown run. Put East Brunswick back up 14-12. Now Stevens back in the driver's seat. Mafucci from the shotgun. First time we've seen this tonight. Mafucci looking under heavy pressure, and he gets decked again. So the 2-point conversion fails again for J.P. Stevens' second time tonight. Matt Jandernall in providing a lot of the pressure for East Brunswick. And the 4-point lead will hold for now. So 18-14, J.P. Stevens. You get the feeling, Jimmy, that this one is going to come down to who has the ball last.
Yeah, it's both teams showing the capability. J.P. Stevens grinding it out for all 3 of their touchdowns, and of course the last one on that fumbled snap, if you will, where Dunbar had to down it on the 15-yard line. But East Brunswick, though, has been quite capable of scoring quickly, getting their 2 touchdowns. And kickoffs for J.P. Stevens have been adventures.
To say the least. Jameel Allen tees things up on the 40-yard line for J.P. Stevens. And set to receive for East Brunswick, number 5, Mike Marrero, and number 36, Bobby Bonetta.
All right, let's watch for our customary offside here.
Right. Although we've seen Jameel Allen try not to go deep. We'll see who fields this time. In a line drive. It's going to be taken by one of the upbacks at the 30. And brought down at about the 37-yard line for East Brunswick is Brian Toady. So mark him at the 37-yard line. That's where East Brunswick will start 1st and 10 with 3:58 left to go in the third quarter. And the Bears trailing by 4.
All right, good field position for the Bears. Get started here. Stevens has pretty much figured out East Brunswick's E-bone offense for the evening, except for that one time went for a long touchdown run. One gets the sense that they really have to open things up a little bit. And guess what we have here?
Flag on the play before we get the play off. And it's going to be another illegal substitution.
This game has been riddled by penalties, especially on East Brunswick's part.
Wonder if the fact that you have 2 starters on the offensive line out of the game playing a role in this.
Oh yeah, could be a factor. This is an inexperienced team to begin with.
So back to the 32-yard line goes the football. It's a 1st and 15. East Brunswick digging itself a bit of a hole here. Chu gets rid of it, and it is almost intercepted by P.J. Surik, but it falls incomplete on the pass intended for Kenny Weinraub. Chu was under all kinds of pressure and had to get rid of it early, but he threw it into a crowd. And it got batted around a couple of times before falling harmlessly to the ground, but it'll bring up a 2nd and 15. And East Brunswick continues to not be a threat throwing the football. I think J.P. Stevens is onto that fact now, and they're just loading guys up at the line of scrimmage and coming after Johnny Chu. But Stevens has been susceptible to the big play. We've seen it twice already tonight. Chu calling signals on the 2nd and 15. Good fake handoff to Gagnon.
I got to tell you.
And Chu on the keeper.
He gets through that last tackler, he's on his way. So you're right, Gordy. Stevens, the way they play defense, they're just ganging up on Chu. But if somehow either he or one of his runners can get beyond that line of scrimmage, they got a clear sailing.
You do get the sense that they are almost ripe for the long pass. The problem is Chu is under so much pressure. They're really the one-on-one scenario in the defensive secondary isn't developing. 3:05 to go. Fake reverse. Chu knocked down in the backfield back to the 30-yard line. A loss of 7 on the play. On another big tackle that time by Jeff Zuda. 6'4", 235, and he's only a junior.
Right place, right time. Just playing his position, he just happened to be in the right spot. And Chu ran right into him.
So a loss of 6 on the play.
And regrettably a punting situation for the Bears. Hopefully this time they can get it off.
Tony Smith, Warren Chia are deep. Brett Dunbar stands on about the 17-yard line. Drills this one. Chia fields at the 41. Chia on the far sideline. Across midfield. Still on his feet. Breaks more tackles.
Ball's popped loose. Looks like Allen fell on it. Second time the ball has been fumbled after a punt. And going to the right player as far as Stevens is concerned.
Yeah, Jameel Allen comes up with the fumble recovery. Spot the ball at the 40, so great field position for J.P. Stevens, trying to build on a 4-point lead.
Well, if ever East Brunswick has to make a stop, this is it.
2:08 to play. Mafucci with the handoff to Kang.
Look at him wind his way through.
Change. Actually, it's Dan Sika.
Okay.
Sika gets his first carry of the night. Out to the 42-yard line. A pickup of 2 on the play. That'll bring up a 2nd and 8. J.P. Stevens, 146 yards of total offense in the first half. East Brunswick just 64. Mafucci back to throw, looking for Tony Smith. Lobs it. Diving effort by Smith. Did he bring it in? He did. Nice catch by Tony Smith. His 2nd diving catch.
It's going to be in first down territory, depending on where they mark it.
He's about a yard shy.
Okay.
Mark him to the 31-yard line. Pickup of 9 on the play. Mafucci now 5 for 9, 44 yards. Tony Smith with 27 of those receiving yards on 3 catches. Just under a minute to go, 3rd quarter. Here's a pitch to Kang. Running to his left and with room. Across the 30. It's a race. 25, 20-yard line. Dragged down at the 19-yard line.
That play had no chance of gaining any yards if Kang had cut into the inside, but he saw the opening, shifted his feet to the outside, and made what he could and got a first down.
1st and 10, Stevens from the East Brunswick 19 after a pickup of 12 by Peter Kang. Takes his total on the evening to 131 yards. 30 seconds to go, 3rd quarter. J.P. Stevens, a 1st and 10 from the EB 19. Mafucci under center. 2 men in the backfield. Jameel Allen and Peter Kang. This is Allen. Allen with room. Up near the 16-yard line. Pickup of 3 on the play for Jameel Allen. Now we have come to the end of 3 quarters of football here at J. Doyle Field at East Brunswick High School. With the score, J.P. Stevens 18, East Brunswick 14. 12 minutes to go, Jimmy.
And somehow, some way, East Brunswick's going to have to find an answer to Kang coming across that line. They seem to have him tackled, and all of a sudden he makes these moves, and he finds some opening, and he's down the field.
And the rushing numbers are very good for J.P. Stevens, especially from Kang.
How many carries does he have?
22 carries.
Yeah, that's
131 yards, 3 touchdowns.
That's a workhorse back if there ever was one. He had 20 carries in the game against North Brunswick. So
it's got to be nice to be 17 years old, doesn't it? Because if you were a pro carrying 22 times, you'd be sitting in the ice bath tonight.
Exactly.
But he'll probably just go home, flip on the TV, and he'll be ready to practice again tomorrow with no soreness. Jameel Allen has only carried 7 times, but he does have 31 yards. That's better than 4 per carry. So he has been able to provide some good relief.
Got to wonder what kind of toll this has taken on the East Brunswick defense to be pounded like this pretty much for all 3 quarters. And now they're going to have to come up with a stop here, quite honestly. This really is an important series. And boy, the Hawks are ready to go.
Second down and 8.
2nd and 7 on the 16-yard line.
2 in the backfield for Mafucci, calling signals. It's a reverse. Here comes Warren Chia with lots of room. Across the 15, across the 10, 5. Touchdown, Warren Chia, J.P. Stevens.
You want to say nothing fancy, but it was a double reverse. And East Brunswick was caught.
First play of the 4th quarter. Deadly one for East Brunswick. Warren Chia runs 16 yards into the end zone, and J.P. Stevens has his largest lead of the game at 24-14. They're going to try for 2 again. Yes, they are. This will be their 3rd attempt. A pitch to Kang. That seems like a decent option. And this time it works.
Just had enough to get into the end zone for the 2 points.
2-point conversion by Kang.
So He's got 20 points on the evening.
Just going to say that. 20 points all alone. And it's now 26-14.
Well, if East Brunswick has anything in its arsenal for quick strike, this is the time to do it.
So Warren Chia for J.P. Stevens becomes the first player other than Peter Kang for his club to score a touchdown tonight. 26-14, J.P. Stevens in control. Just underway in the fourth quarter. You know, one thing that we didn't talk about that's worth a mention. East Brunswick has a place kicker on their team. Where's number 2? Her name is Arwa Gunja.
And her hair is awful long.
Female place kicker for East Brunswick High School.
You don't see that very often.
No, we don't.
No.
Like to see her get her shot. Well, here's the kickoff by Jameel Allen. And it's returned to about the 35-yard line. Spot the ball on the 35-yard line for East Brunswick. The 65 yards in front of them to try to get back on the board here. They are scoreless in the second half. They led 14-12 at halftime, but have given up 2 unanswered touchdowns to fall behind by 12.
Right. Well, the band has returned. You'll be hearing them shortly.
11:41 to go. East Brunswick on a critical drive here to start the fourth quarter. Chu under center with a high pitch to Mineta, running to the near side and running out of room. Tackled in the play by Dan Sika.
One thing we've noticed is Sika as well as Surik very, very quick to the outside. And they snuffed out that run. Actually a loss on the play.
Loss of 1 that time for Bobby Mineta. Yards have been tough to come by, both in the air and on the ground for East Brunswick tonight. Stevens' defense has been good. 10:50 to play here in the fourth quarter. Chu calling signals on the 2nd and 11. Chu on the keeper. Quickly surrounded by J.P. Stevens. T.J. Surik again on the stop. Another loss.
Bears having difficulty finding answers here.
Call it a 3rd and 12 for EB. Suddenly they've run out of gas on offense. Haven't seen Jimmy Gagnon carry the ball here in the second half. Matt Kolbeck, top of your screen, wide of the right-hand side. 2 in the backfield for Chu on the 3rd and 12. Chu's going to throw it. And it's underthrown. Although Kolbeck had broken free, I think by the time he had made his move, Chu was starting to feel the pressure and had to get rid of it. So the Bears yet to complete a pass on 6 attempts tonight. It's 4th down and they'll have to punt. So a 3 and out brings on Brett Dunbar. Tony Smith and Warren Chi drop back to their 40-yard line. 9:52 to go, fourth quarter. Here's the punt, end over end, and a fair catch at the 40-yard line by Warren Chia. J.P. Stevens will start off 1st and 10 from its 40. Wow, we have a great moon rising over the far sideline above the J.P. Stevens band.
Stevens.
Not quite full. It's actually on the way back down again, right? It was full last night, and now it starts to kind of fall back again. I think that's how it works.
Haven't been keeping track of the full moon status, but anyway, Stevens quite content here to utilize as much clock as it can.
Yeah, I'm not guessing Mafucci's going to throw it too much on this drive.
Right.
However, if they continue running plays like that, they may be forced to. Peter Kang on the carry gets stuffed immediately by Frank Panulo. The senior tackle made the stop for the Bears. That's a loss of 2 back to the 38-yard line for Kang. Not too many times he's had negative yardage on a carry tonight.
That's for sure.
Mafucci calling signals on the 2nd and 12. The blitz is on. Mafucci just throws it away. Actually threw it up for grabs downfield. Did he make the catch? No, he did not.
Officials say no.
Boy, Warren Chia
He thinks he did.
was pretty close. He's not arguing too much.
Yeah.
He's going to have to work on his sales pitch if he's going to try to pull one of those off. So it'll bring up a 3rd and 12.
Probably would have been a little bit more vocal if it wasn't a 12-point margin here for Stevens.
So Mafucci now 5 for 10, 44 yards passing. It's kind of been enough to keep the East Brunswick defense honest. Just under 9 minutes to go, 4th quarter, 3rd and 12, and East Brunswick really in a good position back here to make a stop and get the ball back with plenty of time to go. Peter Kang on the pitch left. Kang skips away from a couple of tackles, but is going to be well short of the 1st down. Now we've got a late flag.
Oh, good gosh.
Looked like a late hit on Kang on the far sideline.
Well, at this juncture of the game, that would be a really tough penalty for East Brunswick. Let's see what they're going to call on this one.
If that's what it is, that'll give J.P. Stevens a 1st down, and that would be a critical penalty. It's going to be a personal foul against East Brunswick. There's the 1st down for Stevens.
Well, the Bears desperately need to get their hands on the ball, and handing a 1st down to Stevens is only going to allow them to take about another 3 to 4 minutes off the clock, depending on what they do here.
So we'll give Kang 11 yards on the carry to the 49. Now we're going to tack on the 15 for the personal foul. The ball now at the 36-yard line. And East Brunswick has called timeout with 8:48 to play in the ballgame. That'll give me a chance to add up Peter Kang's statistics.
And he is just a terrific runner for Stevens tonight. He's been the workhorse. Hasn't fumbled the ball.
By my count, 24 carries, 140 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
Boy, how can a high school runner, 24 carries, I mean, you see a workhorse back more in college and pros, but not as usual in the high school ranks. But this guy has shown in the first game and also in this game tonight, real excellent running ability. And Marcus Borden, see him on the sidelines there, rather animated fashion, talking to his defense.
You know, if you're Frank Sarro, the head coach at J.P. Stevens, you know that Peter Kang has had a huge night rushing the ball. 8:48 to go, you're up by 2 touchdowns. Is it time to start working in maybe some of the younger guys? I mean, Dan Sekas carried once tonight for 2 yards. He's only a sophomore. He's the guy we've seen in motion repeatedly. I wonder if it's time to start giving him some work. Let's see what happens. Right now, the important thing is to run the clock down no matter how you do it if you're J.P. Stevens. 1st and 10 from the EB 36. Here's Jamil Allen.
Gordy, there is a marker on the play. Gordy, I think if Stevens scores here, then I think you're going to see some of the younger players come in for the Hawks. And I think they want to get that 3-touchdown margin and a holding call. Excuse me, on J.P. Stevens.
8:38 to play.
10 yards. Ball will be spotted now at the 46-yard line.
So the holding penalty against J.P. Stevens pushes the Hawks back to the 46-yard line. And the clock moves. 8:20 to go. Be a 1st and 20. Mafucci's going to throw. Lobs it down the sideline. Tony Smith is there. Smith off to the races. Change it. It's Warren Chia who's in for a touchdown.
Yep. Chia got his wish, one-on-one. And East Brunswick defender really didn't have a sight on the ball, so he couldn't make the play, and Chia just gathered it in and took it in for the touchdown.
Second straight touchdown for Warren Chia. 46-yard pass from the quarterback, Mike Mafucci.
So he's got 4 in 2 games. Looks like they're going to go for 1.
Well, they'll do this funky formation here. And Seth Horowitz on again for the point after. And the kick is no good. It was wide left. So with exactly 8 minutes to play, it's now 32-14 J.P. Stevens. So 4 plays, 60 yards.
And now East Brunswick down by 3 scores. Clock definitely working against them. 8 minutes to go. And Stevens, you can tell they're feeling it over there on the sideline.
So for Mike Mafucci, his 3rd touchdown pass of the season. He had 2 last week in the loss to North Brunswick. 1 more here tonight. Peter Kang's got 3 rushing touchdowns. Warren Chia with a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown for Stevens. And Jameel Allen will again kick it off. Now East Brunswick has some work to do. Here's another line drive squibber. Brian Toady falls on it at about the 31-yard line. And that's where EB gets the ball.
Well, after tonight's game, East Brunswick goes on the road for 3 consecutive weeks. Next week, visiting South Brunswick. That'll be a Friday night game, September 22nd, and on the 28th, they'll pay a visit to Bishop Lahr, and then finally wrap up this road trip, if you will, October 6th at Woodbridge, and Woodbridge was a 31-9 victor over South Brunswick in their opening game. So some tough games ahead for East Brunswick.
1st and 10 EB. Look at J.P. Stevens just stacking him up on the line. Chu's going to throw it, and he's under all kinds of pressure. Surik, penalty on the play, and Chu just throws it away. They'll probably have a holding penalty here.
That's what it looks like. Whoops.
Block below the waist. So EB going backwards. And the Bears have called timeout. 7:49 to go. Long road ahead. They need 3 scores. They trail at 32-14. They led this game at one point by the score of 14-12. That was at halftime, but J.P. Stevens has shut out EB here in the second half.
All right. What do we got here? Okay, that was that penalty that was assessed from the point of the foul. Now we got the
plus a timeout.
Right, and you've got wholesale changes here.
Ball is back to the 15-yard line
Perhaps a new quarterback.
on the 15-yard penalty. Yeah, Chu is coming off.
Right. Looks like number 1, Mark Mansky, is taking over. Well, at this point, he's just talking to Borden. Mansky entering the game. Ball 5'8", 139.
Just a sophomore, Mansky. Let's see if the youngster can jumpstart the offense. Against what has been a very stingy J.P. Stevens defense tonight.
Boy, haven't they, huh?
I mean, East Brunswick with 14 points, and only 7 of those were from the offense. 1 was from special teams. So here's Mansky. First varsity snap, and he keeps it.
Well,
And he lost a couple, maybe back to the 14-yard line, loss of 1 on the play.
all right, now you have some new faces coming in for the Hawks. I was wondering when they were going to make some substitutions. Sorak, who played an excellent game, leaves.
.7:15 to play. The clock moves. The sophomore quarterback is in. And the flags fly. And it's going to be a false start against EB.
That'll push him back a more.
Running out of space to go backwards.
Really, this is. Now, if you're East Brunswick, you got to concern yourself with staying out of your own end zone, be it either a fumbled snap. Remember, we have a new quarterback in.
Ball going back now to the 9-yard line.
Boy, and they need to get up to the 42 for a first down.
That would make it 2nd and 33. Mansky.
Just was able to get that handoff.
Handoff up the middle.
Well,
ball carrier was Dmitry Zvygoft.
all right. 3 yards on that play, it looks like.
So 3rd down and long for EB. Mansky keeps it himself, looking to throw. He's got a man deep. Weinraub is wide open. Weinraub at midfield is going to go all the way for a touchdown. How about the sophomore quarterback? Well, we said it before that J.P. Stevens was ripe for that kind of play.
And you know what happened?
Because they've been loading guys in the box and loading guys in the box and stuffing the run and stuffing the run. And in comes the sophomore quarterback on his first varsity drive and throws an 89-yard touchdown pass to Kenny Weinraub, who did most of the work from about the 45 on.
And good for him. Good for him. Good for both of those players to get that touchdown. Darren Zhao was covering on that play, and it looks like Weinraub just outran him. And Zhao tripped, and after that, it was just a matter of gathering the ball in and off to the races. So East Brunswick's offense coming in spurts.
Big plays, big plays, big plays. 85-yard touchdown return on a kickoff, a 60-yard touchdown run from the line of scrimmage, and now an 89-yard touchdown pass from Mark Mansky to Kenny Weinraub. You know, I thought this too would be the opportune time to see Arwa Gunja come in and kick the point after. but she will stay on the sidelines. And the pointer after is good.
And you got a couple of players
by
down
Bobby Mineta.
for J.P. Stevens. I think they ran into each other, these guys. One of them's number 55, Dubé, you mentioned. And who else is down on the field?
So the score is J.P. Stevens 32, East Brunswick 21, with 5:23 to play.
And this game is not over by any stretch of the imagination. And looks like leg injuries for both players.
It's like a war zone out there.
Yeah.
This guy step on a landmine or something?
They actually collided with each other, trying to block that extra point attempt.
Well, number 55, we can see there for J.P. Stevens,
Right.
is Tom Dubé.
And I believe that's number 20 is the other player. Matt Stanzioni.
Dubé getting to his feet. He looks to be all right. Maybe just got a nasty bang. Hopefully nothing more serious than that. And the second player is up as well.
All right. 11-point margin, 5:23 to go. Is it too early for an onside kick?
I don't think so. So Matt Stanzioni and Tom Dubé collect themselves for J.P. Stevens under their own power, off to the sidelines.
Looking at the players for the Hawks on the front lines, you've got Allen out there. You got the fullback Hendrickson on the front line.
Got your hands, guys? That's what it looks like.
There it is. So they're ready.
East Brunswick as well, lining up for the onside kick.
Stage right.
There's the hop they're looking for, but it's caught there by Tony Smith. I believe he got a hand on it. Doug Feil, the sophomore, handled the kickoff that time. Got the nice hop, but you really need it to drop over that first line of guys and hope that your guys can run past it and cover it by the time it bounces.
Yeah.
Well, J.P. Stevens gets the ball, 1st and 10 at its own 49-yard line, leading by 10 with 5:19 to go.
And I don't think we're going to be seeing replacement players in there. Check that. I think we do have a new quarterback. Nope, that's Mafucci. Sorry about that. Wow. Marrero in there on that tackle. East Brunswick making the stop on that play, but the problem is the clock continues to run.
And a pitch to Kang again.
Boy.
Kang with room this time. Look out.
Look.
There goes Kang.
Wow.
Holy cow.
Wow.
Peter Kang with his 4th rushing touchdown of the night. This one for 51 yards.
Right. And you got an East Brunswick player down on the field well behind that touchdown run.
26 carries, 191 yards, 4 touchdowns. Peter Kang and J.P. Stevens.
Can't quite make out the Bear player down on the field, but see Marcus Borden going over there, see what the situation is. I'll tell you what, if Kang wasn't on the charts after last week's performance, he is now.
That's 41, Matt Kolbeck.
Okay. Up, thankfully.
Tell you what, do I have this right that East Brunswick now has scored 3 touchdowns and does not have a first down?
Well, that's what we're hearing. I haven't had a chance to get that verified, but boy, if it is, we know that East Brunswick's offense has been sluggish, but
suddenly it just explodes at times.
yeah.
.427 left to play.
And the Hawks still yet to go for the extra point. Boy, Kolbeck doesn't look well walking now.
This is Mafucci on for the point after.
And
it's good.
And look very good doing it.
Well, it's now 39-21. J.P. Stevens putting up now 27 points in the second half.
Well, you remember last week against North Brunswick, it was the Raiders that were piling it on in the second half.
Yeah, they were the ones who physically wore down J.P. Stevens. This week, it seems that J.P. Stevens has turned the tables on East Brunswick and wore down the Bears in the second half. Peter Kang, 26 carries, 191 yards, and 4 touchdowns. What a night.
All right. A lot of new faces out there for the Bears.
Jameel Allen tees it up again. And a line drive is fielded. Right there. Frank Carmella gives East Brunswick the 1st and 10 from the 20. .421 to go. East Brunswick down 39-21.
All right, Mansky, fresh off that touchdown pass, is going to have another opportunity. Call signals for East Brunswick.
Yeah, you're only as good as your last play, right? Hey, Mansky's got an 89-yard touchdown pass.
On a roll.
Mansky calling signals.
Oh, he got wrapped.
Straight up the middle. Number 27, Brian Ackerman with the carry.
All right.
Nothing doing. Loss of 2 to the 18.
Joe Tyrone, number 60, in for Stevens. Boy, some of those defensive players for the Hawks seeing their first action for the evening, and they want to make a name for themselves.
Mark Mansky, the sophomore, in at quarterback, in place of the starter, Johnny Chu. Mansky with a handoff. It goes straight up the middle. Again, not much on the carry was Giovanni Mendez. That puts the Bears back to the 17, a loss of 1 on the play. Bring up a 3rd and 13. And now Mendez, after the carry, checks out of the game. Mansky under center on the 3rd and long. He's going to throw it. His last throw was a pretty successful one. Scrambling, rushing to his right. Dragged down from behind. Chasing him all the way was number 60, Joe Terone. And it'll bring up a 4th down.
And Mansky not able to get out of bounds, so the clock continues to run.
Loss of 2 on the play for Mansky.
East Brunswick will likely punt on this play, even though it's a 4th down and they're down by 18.
Now this will about do it. Less than 2 minutes to play.
Well, they're going to have to call a timeout. I think there was some confusion as to whether or not they were either going to punt or go for it. If they were, they didn't have a play ready. So this discussion well, they were missing a tackle.
Well, minute 46 left to play. So East Brunswick will fall to 0-2 on the season. JP Stevens will even things up at 1-1. They got pasted last week, and JP Stevens puts on a pasting this week.
And they will punt.
And number 25, Doug File, who handled the onside kick before, gets off a punt. And it's fielded at about the 33-yard line by number 32, Aaron Coward. And he returns it to the 26-yard line with a minute 34 to go, and JP Stevens probably just take a couple knees here, and that'll be it.
And they call timeout. So this is a disappointing loss for East Brunswick. No doubt. They had a lead at halftime of 14-12 and then had the Hawks come back, and mostly in the form of Peter Kang. What a player he is. He really showed his wares tonight. And Hawks have a nice team.
We can debate this, I think, but my guess is that this game conceivably could have been over about 40 minutes ago.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I've been noticing about high school football.
This quarter is taking about a day and a half.
Yeah,
Is it Sunday?
A lot of needless timeouts.
Penalties.
Yeah. This game is in the hands of the officials.
Probably seems longer for some of the players on the field. I'll admit that. JP Stevens has a new quarterback in the game.
No, he's got room.
Vin Lombardi. Vin Lombardi with a pitch to number 26, Chris Lee, with his first carry of the game.
5'4", 135.
The name Vin Lombardi, ring a bell at all? Vin Lombardi. Could he be named after the legendary coach?
And why didn't he want to be called Vince?
Maybe that was just a little too much for a high school football player to
There
be
you
called
go.
Vince Lombardi.
A little too much pressure.
So Lombardi under center again. And the handoff from Lombardi straight up the middle.
And I think we're going to get one more play, depending on when they blow it down.
Ball carried by Aaron Coward. 30 seconds to go.
Nope, I think we're done.
Be a third down, about 5. Have time for one more. Lombardi will take one more snap. It's a pitch and a fumble, and it's picked up. And the tackle, and that will about do it. Chris Lee gets the final carry of the game, and that's the end of the ball game. Final score, J.P. Stevens 39, East Brunswick 21. East Brunswick falls to 0-2 on the season. J.P. Stevens evens things up at 1-1. Big star of the night for J.P. Stevens, no doubt about it. Running back Peter Kang, 26 carries, 191 yards, and 4 touchdowns. For East Brunswick, some of the bright spots. Mark Mansky came in, backup quarterback, the sophomore. Threw one pass, and it went for an 89-yard touchdown to Kenny Weinraub. So an impressive night for the sophomore backup. Quiet night rushing the ball. East Brunswick couldn't muster much of a rushing attack, and that was about it. And as we mentioned before, they had no first downs, yet they managed 2 offensive touchdowns, including the 60-yard run by Mike Barrero, which gave East Brunswick the lead back. And also, first play of the game, 85-yard kickoff return by Bobby Mineta. So some of the highlights tonight for East Brunswick, although they lose by the score of 39-21.
Yeah, just a short thought, Gordy. This game somewhat deflating for East Brunswick. They came out in the second half, thought they might be able to keep things going and win the game, but boy, too much Peter Kang, and Stevens has a lot of horses, and they're going to do well this year.
All right, so that'll do it here from J. Doyle Field at East Brunswick High School for our entire crew here at EBTV. For Jimmy Allinder, I'm Gordy Deal. That'll do it. Final score once again, J.P. Stevens 39, East Brunswick 21. We'll see you next time.